it's a noon to 2 radio show, which, again, we'll talk about a little bit later. It's like, all right, when you're out on the road, traffic, it gets crowded.
Yep.
I try to actually plan my inspections normally leading into the radio show or right after the radio show. So, yes.
Do people ever know you from the radio show when you get there?
There's been like once or twice that they've actually ever said anything. There's been probably maybe like a half dozen to a dozen other times where like they've looked at me really weird.
Yeah.
And like I've noticed a ton of UK memorabilia on the wall and just been like, ew. Like they just didn't want to say anything.
Right, yeah.
But 99.9% of the time, no.
Well, it is hard to recognize a face from radio too.
And I like that.
Yeah.
I don't want to be recognized, and I'm totally cool with that. I don't want that to interfere with my actual job. But, no, it's been a busy travel day. I was out in Meade County after having to go to Indiana, so I got to go over the Meade County Bridge, which I don't get to go over all that often. Fun little bridge. Neat little bridge. And that was nice. So, been a busy day. Got to listen to a lot of podcasts and radio when you're driving that much. It was like the Corden exit in Indiana, but I forget what town technically it was. But crossed over Muckport into Brandenburg and Meade County. So shout out to all those areas today. But been a busy day. A lot of fun stuff to talk about. April Fool's Day. Are you all big pranksters?
I am not, but I get fooled on Twitter all the time on today. Like, I saw 3 things. I was like, that is crazy. And then I was like, well, this is just a crazy news day. And then I was like, it's April 1st. Okay. All right. Calm down. And there was one that was like Western Kentucky's leaving division, or I guess FBS, and moving back to FCS. And it said they're going to join the Missouri Valley, and they're going to compete with their old rival Murray State. And I was like, yeah, that's going to be fun. That's awesome. And then I was like, it's April 1st. And I just kept doing it all morning. So I don't participate in that, but I guess in a way I do. I am participating in April Fool's Day by being the fool.
That's funny that you would briefly believe that Western Kentucky would drop down in football. They nearly joined the MAC a couple years ago, which was weird. MAC said, yes, you can join, but you have to bring Middle Tennessee with you, and Middle Tennessee was like, no, we're not coming. So they were shunned. And now the MAC was adding some weird schools and stuff like that. I don't totally know. What about you in April Fool's Day, producer Matt?
I mean, I don't necessarily do a lot, but this just kind of like peak. Not that like I'm getting tricked on this day, but it's one of those where it's kind of like, do you guys follow NBA Centel?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, I don't know if I follow, but I'm familiar and see them all the time. Yeah.
Okay, so
it's like a silly account.
Yeah, the joke with NBA Centel is like they'll tweet out some things that eventually will become true, kind of like the Simpsons episodes debacle stuff. So it's always is it true or is it not with Centel? So that's becoming the running joke. That's how I feel about all of April. Like, because there's some things that I see that's like that definitely could be true, or there's articles that I do see that like should be accurate. Like this account definitely probably wouldn't play a prank, but I have to double take and think, okay, are they in on the joke or are they not? And that's kind of been me most of the day, unfortunately. I try to stay away from the news on April 1st.
Well, you came into the studio hot. You looked a little disgruntled, truthfully, and I didn't know if we were going to be able to do a radio show today.
I didn't either. I thought I was getting April Fool's pranked immediately.
I thought you were April Fool's pranking us.
I walked in, and I was confused because, like, I stopped at the gas station down next door just to grab a drink really quick and then walk in, and Scoots isn't here. And I'm like, okay, why is he not here? But on the radio, I hear Sports Map is playing. I'm like, why is Sports Map playing? Why is the Hoosier Report?
No Hoosier Report today. I did know that.
So
you listen to Spears on Sports.
I walk in. There's nobody here, and then Trey lets me know that the board was apparently rewired because there was an issue where you guys probably noticed it, that sometimes your mic would just randomly cut off and I have to turn it back on. So apparently they fixed that issue, but none of the Inco stuff that plays all the spots and the intros and stuff was on, so I had to boot all that up. And then when we get going, I had no idea, but it wasn't playing it. I walked in there and told you guys that, hey, none of this stuff is playing. I don't know why. I come in here, and it's because none of the mics or anything were assigned to the board, and it's on me. I just didn't notice that when I first walked in. I didn't even know any of this was going on. So I flipped all that stuff on, so we're good now. So I really did think this was just some hilariously elaborate April Fool's joke, but it's settled now.
Keeps your head on a swivel. This day does, doesn't it?
Yeah, it
Keep you on
does.
your toes.
I played a little prank on my father.
Ooh, how'd that go?
You send him to a McDonald's?
I don't know. Well, that's actually that's the genesis of the prank,
Oh, there you go.
producer Matt. We'd love to hear from you today. No pranks on the Gameday Men's Health text line 502-414-1450. That is 502-414-1450. But as producer Matt alluded to, on St. Patrick's Day, if I'm not mistaken, my father was escorted out of a McDonald's. You know, I probably need to be careful, actually, about even detailing this prank because he listens to the show, and I don't even know if it's come to fruition yet, the prank or not. So, oh boy, I could have just blown all of this for what it's worth.
What?
So let me. Oh boy,
What'd you do? What did you just do?
That stinks if I did. 502-414-1450.
You did not think this through.
I asked one person to let me know once the prank had gone through, and I actually had not gotten that text message,
Oh,
so I
no.
probably should have just stopped all of this. But not impossible that
Or
that
maybe that
my dad's not hip to what's
maybe
up.
that statement was the April Fool's prank over the radio.
There you go. What are you eating?
Crackers?
Oh, cool.
Nice.
I was starving before the show. Usually am not, but starving before the show today. And picked up some local Mexican salsaritas. Check out their 3 locations in the Louisville area, Middletown, St. Matthews, and out in Bullitt County, I-65, Shepherdsville. Download that Salsaritas app today. Oh, man. I got to touch base with some people and figure out where we're at if I can detail this story. But otherwise, Stephen Peak, why don't you let everybody know what we got planned for people on today's show?
What do we have planned for today's show? As far as I know, there was.
What don't we have planned for today's show?
Well,
The bigger question.
There was some news that didn't come out yesterday. The news that didn't come out was that Tyron Stokes had made a decision on where he was going to go. So I know I talked about it late in the show yesterday about how I had gotten some text messages that said not only was he going to announce tonight, he was going to announce that he was going to Kentucky. And
Joe Tipton.
Well, Joe Tipton said that he was going to announce. I got messages.
Joe Tipton of On 3.
Yeah, Joe.
On 3 said that Travis Randall.
It was an April Fool's joke. TJ, what do you want me to say?
And then Steven's
Barely.
super reliable source.
My super reliable source, batting about 30% on the basketball recruits. So, and he said that he was going to announce to Kentucky, and that didn't happen. But I talked with some people yesterday. We had Jacob in here. It is like, I guess I said this too. My hopes are rising with Tyron Stokes, and I don't like it because I just feel like it's just setting myself up to be let down. And then I watched him.
I tried to tell you yesterday.
Exactly. And I watched him play last night, and I'm like, man, he is really good. Like, all the stuff about being a head case. And the thing is, too, with Rob Dillingham, we were told over and over and over about how much this kid was going to be a locker room issue, and he's going to be a problem. And was he? I didn't think Rob Dillingham was ever a problem. I thought Rob Dillingham was kind of the solution in a lot of ways. And he should have had 2 game winners. His 3 at A&M went in and out. He had the one against LSU. Rob was great. So I probably am leaning on that a little bit too much because there's just been a lot of people who've been saying this. I mean, I'll just give you an example. We were in St. Louis, and there were, I won't say what school, but they were recruiters in the ACC, and they were in the same hotel as us. And we were talking with them. We asked their GM and one of their lead recruiters, what would you pay for Tyron Stokes? And they said, not $1. They said they would not waste $1 on Tyron Stokes. Now, could they just not, is it just a player they know that they can't land at this particular school? Maybe. And that could possibly be the case because, these guys do have egos. They don't want to look like they whiffed or struck out on somebody. But they broke it down as like, that kid's just going to be an issue, whoever gets him. But my thing is, if Bill Self is going after him, this is a big year for Bill Self. It could be his last one. He wants to go out strong. So I'm getting way too optimistic about the Tyron Stokes stuff than I need to be.
Who's the source?
I'm not.
Everybody wants. That's what everybody's wondering.
I'm not gonna.
Because it really does matter. Like if they're not gonna pay a dime for Tyron Stokes.
Oh,
Did you follow up why they wouldn't pay a dime?
Yeah, of course we did. And it was actually really interesting too because Jack knew.
There you go.
Jack knew who the guy was, and the guy didn't know that Jack knew who he was. He didn't like. He thought we were just 3 Kentucky fans hanging out, and so. He was trying to introduce himself.
So Jack knew him, but
he didn't know
Jack. Oh,
yeah.
boy.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
So yeah, it was very interesting because I think he was telling people, like, I sell insurance. And Jack was like, sure you do, coach. And the guy was kind of like, I don't know what that was about, but whatever. He was decked out in the school's clothes. And it was like head to toe. Yeah.
And he said that he sold insurance?
That's what he was saying. And then he said, I was at this school. And then Jack was like, Coach, you haven't been at that school for a couple years.
Jack said that?
Yeah, and then the guy was like, "Oh, so you know your stuff. You know your stuff." And so that made that interaction very interesting. Once the guy realized, oh, okay, I'm actually talking to somebody who might, who's been following this, who knows what they're doing. And Jack, that's where Jack and Jacob, they're always at those EYBL events. They know a lot of these recruiters. They've met these coaches before, and so it did make it interesting. And again, I don't really care what an ACC coach that isn't Duke or Louisville would have to say about even North Carolina. I'll throw them in there too about Tyron. They're not recruiting him, so obviously when their GM says I wouldn't pay $1 for him, I'm not gonna.
That's something to. Yeah, that's something.
You take that? Does that matter to you? Like as a Kentucky fan?
I think the conversations earlier this week would seem to indicate that, yeah, I expect shenanigans with Tyron Stokes wherever he goes to college. It's been nothing but a circus everywhere else he's been. Why would it all of a sudden change? Is he going to go to Kansas or Kentucky and just be the most, disciplined, hardworking dude in the world that you never hear from him again? And I will actually, to make a bigger take, that was one beautiful thing about John Calipari is that, all right, you'd hear about all this drama about a dude outside of a recruitment and their high school, their AAU, and then they'd get to UK, and it'd just be like, oh, okay, nothing. Now, near the end of the Calipari era, you started to see cracks of that. You'd start to hear about player drama. Maybe you had your National Player of the Year start talking about how a plane was going to end in a fiery crash.
Yeah, but that wasn't because Oscar was, causing problems.
Whoa, I never said I never was going to single anybody out.
Oh, sorry, my bad. I didn't mean to out the National Player of the Year. He talked about the plane crashes.
Yeah.
I would hate for people to know who that is. Yeah. But now, since we let the cat out of the bag here, Oscar was, by all...
Not Oscar Combs,
yes.
YouTube watchers.
He was, he was a good teammate. I know him and Wheeler didn't get along.
I don't know if he was a good teammate.
Yeah, maybe he wasn't.
I think he had some beef.
I think that first year he definitely was. And then maybe he got a little bit of a big head. I don't know.
Supply.
Maybe a
when
little bit.
When you average 64 rebounds a game, you get to just be a jerk to people?
I do. I don't know if he was ever a jerk, but I do know that he would say a lot like, we're not fighting. And it was implied, I'm the only one fighting, and our guys don't want to fight.
And then sometimes he'd be like, if you get on this 747, it's going to go down into some trees.
Yeah, I guess he did say that. But he survived.
Well,
isn't it weird that his premonition actually did kind of come true in terms of the basketball?
What?
No, it was a metaphor for how the game was going to go. He had 30 points. He had another double-double.
Oh, I see what you're
saying. The rest of the team blanked the bed. And
wow. It is a weird Wednesday. I guess I'm not totally prepared for that conversation, but that could,
You never thought of that?
Like the team's going down, but the Oscar survived.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah. Well, now he's playing for the Utah Sound or whatever they're called.
Can he come back? Does he have any years of eligibility?
He April Fool's prank joked about that. Hey, an Oakland guard just entered the transfer portal 4 seconds ago, according to Joe Tipton.
Oh, okay. Are they any good? There's also a couple.
It's a white Oakland guard, so I don't know. We may just want to be careful.
Yeah.
Reach out just to be safe.
Just so we're not playing against him.
Yeah, by the way, it's Brody. Okay, I'm out. Never mind. His name's Brody. Brody Robinson. He's a 5'11" guard that averaged 18 points and 7 assists per game. Okay, actually, he's pretty good.
Is our guy Wildcat's tongue saying that he's a cat yet?
Yeah, Bradley's already said, all right, one to watch here. I love We're Up to No Good. I can't say that enough. I had Dylan Ballard on recently, and I haven't gotten to listen to that one. But No, I fully expect We're Up to No Good to endorse him as well.
Oh, I was not hating on them at all.
I am. The All Horizon League first team selection has been granted one of those TROs for an additional year of eligibility and has a court date set for April 10th. So again, if you think that you're eligible, just go to a friendly judge in your hometown and you'll be eligible. Anyways, that just popped up. But you were saying about Oscar's death premonitions?
Yeah, no, it was he nailed it. As far as he nailed the metaphor. I think, but yeah, that was weird. I just don't think that he caused a lot of locker room drama. At least not until the second year. In second year, you could see him and Wheeler got into it after the South Carolina game, especially.
On the court, though, they looked like they just never really liked each other.
Yeah. You didn't think so in 22?
No, okay. I'm saying in the second year when they were a seed with the National Player of the Year. Yeah, they never really looked like they were totally on the same page. No, they looked like they had fun that first year when they were beating Kansas by 1,000,000 points.
Yeah. I still can't
Fog
believe.
Allen.
I mean, that team.
What a game that was.
It was. And
Keon Brooks, baby.
Yeah, it was great. Was that the game where you just kept flashing middle and just kept hitting mid-range jumpers?
Yeah, Kansas played that zone because they just wanted multiple bodies on Oscar, and
worked out well.
Didn't work out well.
For Kentucky.
That was a blast.
It was. And that team, man, that's the best team that he's had. That's the best team that Kentucky has had since COVID.
For sure.
And it just stinks.
I do think the Reed and Rob team was good, but that team was better.
Yeah. And then I think that was the year that I got very suspicious about that Wilson Evo bright orange basketball that they were using. When I saw the way Kellen Grady was shooting with it, and I was like, man, something. That's when I went out and bought it right after they lost to St. Peter's. I mean, I'm getting that basketball. I want to know what's up because Kellen Grady went from every time this guy shoots, it's going in to like, I don't know, 4 of
really
20.
Fun team to watch too. I mean, you had Davion Mintz and Kellen Grady.
Wheeler was good that year too. Like Wheeler took a lot of flack the following year because the pieces around him didn't work, and it's one of those situations again where you gotta have some really good shooters around him, and Antonio Reeves became that later on, but he really wasn't.
That Notre Dame game was the second year, right? That was
the first year, 66-62 loss at Notre Dame.
That was the team that was a 2 seed. That was the St. Peter's team.
Yeah, that was the second loss of the season. Yeah.
Wow, I would have lost a lot of money on that. That's when I really think the narrative changed on Wheeler.
Early?
That really, yeah, I swear.
Man,
people were.
I thought he was good the whole year.
Well, no, I agree with you that he was. So maybe that's why I thought that was the second year because I thought my timelines are a little mixed up. But that is definitively when the narrative changed on him because they were daring him to shoot threes. And not even just threes. They were even like, take an 18-footer. We don't care. Come on in. Come on in, buddy. We've seen you shoot free throws before. Come on in. And he just couldn't do it. And it's almost like when
Well, he was 0 for 5 from the field that game. 0 for 2 from 3. And, yeah, he just wouldn't take the threes. It
was a tough look. Notre Dame was just playing him like it was a grade school game, and they were just backing off, being like, take it, buddy. Take it. We're going to guard everybody else because we know that you're not going to be the one to shoot. He could get in the lane and do some crafty layups. Severe Wheeler.
That's still a game that Kentucky should have won.
The Notre Dame one? I remember where I was at for it. I was at a Christmas party. Yeah, absolutely should have won.
I mean, they're on the road. I get it. It's their first road game. They're up 30-28 at halftime. And
I didn't realize they were
struggling the whole way. Yeah, but
I remember it just being like a slog, and that they really had no business even being as close as they were because they just were horrible.
Who missed the shot at the end? Didn't we miss like a layup?
I don't remember.
I think Tyron Stokes drove, or Tyron Stokes.
Whoa!
Ty Washington, totally different player, totally different year and person. Ty drove to the basket, missed the layup with 5 seconds left. We were down 2, and then they got a run-out dunk to close the game out. So yeah, that loss hurt. I mean, this was a typical Calipari early in the season loss that we just kind of all got accustomed to by this point, and it was the difference between a 2 seed and a 1 seed. Difference between playing St. Peter's and not playing St. Peter's, and yeah, that was a frustrating season. But what were we talking about? We were talking about guys' problems in the locker room. What's been okay? So Tyron Stokes, that's the biggest caveat, I guess, that comes with him. He's a great player. You saw him last night. You saw the kind of plays he can make, the explosiveness, the blocks, the dunks. But everyone is concerned that he will be toxic in the locker room. And I've heard some
For what
stories.
it's worth, not even just toxic in the locker room. It could be similar to something that they mentioned last night during the broadcast and that you saw. Back problems. And U of L fans, that's going to hit close to home with them. We're going to talk a lot of U of L today on today's show, by the way. Producer Matt.
Louisville roll call.
Your initial take on the Brom-Hurd feud.
Ooh, this is good. I can't wait to hear this.
Yeah, I can't wait to talk about this.
I'm not happy about it.
Good. Attaboy.
I'm not happy about it. I have been
Fire Brom. You heard it here first.
Yeah, no.
You're not mad at Brom.
I'd rather fire the other man first. Before
Fire them both.
Now, I actually don't think Josh. I think that he's done well, Josh Hurd, for the time he's been here. I don't think he's done fantastic. I'm not going to sit here and say that I think he's one of the better athletic directors across the country. I don't think his tenure has been anywhere near long enough. But I think he's done a good enough job that, I have no problem with him doing the things he's doing. He's obviously upped our NIL pretty well. He's done a really good job of, bringing money into the program, so I'm happy about that. But if you somehow lose that on Jeff Brom, I don't think it'll happen. I think that they will get it figured out. The whole him getting kicked out of the office stuff yesterday is a really bad look, and I'm not happy about it.
Yeah.
But I think that it'll inevitably get done for the sole fact that if it didn't happen, that is a big enough stain on Josh Hurd's legacy that he will be gone. I think he will be removed from office.
Did he hire Kenny Payne?
Unfortunately, he did.
Okay. He did, but it was kind of like
interim.
He was kind of forced to do it.
It was forced. It was clear. Like, there's so much momentum. Even when they hired Chris Mack, I remember I did a story when Kenny Payne was at UK. I did a story because U of L was mentioning him for the job post-Patino. And he wasn't going to get hired, but his name was just being floated around. So I interviewed him about that, and he was honored that it was being floated around and blah, 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 just coach speak sort of stuff. But then the second time around, it was so loud that whoever the AD was like, all right, the alumni that has good feelings and won big while he was a player here. Sound familiar, everybody? Yeah, I'll hire him. That seems like that's who you all want? Okay. No, that's who we'll go with then. So we will talk about that. I was curious your take. I have another producer who had a different take than you, producer Matt. So I want to put a producer off, obviously, and we will get to that. But it is April Fool's Day, which makes this announcement hilarious on today's show. But it's kind of a classic KRC sort of deal. And get your text into the Gameday Men's Health text line. But I did want to just take a minute and let everybody know that after 13 years of Big X Sports Radio, I'm going to step away from radio, and maybe for a bit, but maybe forever. I don't know. Haven't decided yet. Probably the former than the latter. But at least through the summer, I'm going to just take a break. But plain and simple, I'm burnt out. The pay has never matched the passion, and we never really hinted at otherwise here. But right now, I'm just going to focus on the other job and take a little break from radio. But I love radio. I've given it everything I've gotten for 13 years. It's one of the greatest joys of my life, even to the point that I've written some of this stuff down, which I never do. But I'm grateful for every single listener that I've had. I sometimes am surprised that so many people listen. I can't believe it, especially when we're out and about. People come and listen to us in public and shout roll call to us. I can't thank you all enough. But I'm going to take a reset, and I'm going to unplug, recharge this summer, and see what I want to do moving forward. And I would love, if it all works out, that I'm able to do radio with Stephen Peak and cover the Will Stein football era, because that sounds like a lot of fun, and that's the reason I got into this to begin with, is because all of this is just so much fun. It's been therapeutic at times as well. But either way, I'm going to walk away from Kentucky Roll Call for a few months. But it's nothing but love and appreciation for everything that we've built at KRC for about 8 years, and then what I've done at Big X Sports Radio for about 13 years. But Peak's going to have you in good hands for the summer, and then hopefully, the way I view it right now is I think I want to be back. But you never know. Maybe over the next few months.
You're going to be back. Like, I don't even know what you're doing.
Maybe the next few months I love not doing radio. But we moved to the afternoon Roush and I, out of like a sort of desperation. We started the radio show. I wasn't even married yet. I would soon be married. Roush married the following year. No kids. Obviously, life changes. doing a 7 a.m. radio show while your wife has to get kids ready, that wasn't going to work long term. Babies ready, I should say, not just like kids that can get themselves ready, but you got to put both kids, Roush's case, 3 kids, into diapers and school outfits and all that sort of stuff. So we moved to noon out of like, all right, let's just hope that from a schedule standpoint, this works out better, and we'll see how it goes. We appreciate everybody that's hung out and listened to us, regardless of what time it's been. But it didn't make things necessarily easier. We tried. It just didn't necessarily make things better for us. So I'm gonna take a little step back. Peak's got you in good hands, and then Peak, I hope you're 100% right, and I am back in the fall. In my brain, that's how I envision it happening, so that's how I want it to happen. I don't know what this means for the post-game show either, but that's how we'll end the first segment. We'll come back. We'll read your text into the Gameday Men's Health text line. The transfer portal is on and popping. I'm having like family members text me. I didn't tell anybody about it. I'm probably not even going to make a post about it. But Friday will be my last show for a few months. All right, Kentucky Roll Call. Stephen Peak, TJ Walker, producer Matt Childers. Back after this.
Wake up, Mr. West, Mr. West.
and does not believe you, TJ.
Yeah, the fact that you're announcing on April Fool's Day makes me skeptical. Rightfully so. Totally understand. Wasn't my plan or really my intention. But we had Jacob yesterday, and I didn't doing that with Jacob would have been totally silly. He would he would have trivialized. Yeah, it would have been trivialized in some capacity.
So is this like for real? Are you being serious?
Yes, you didn't know about any of this in any capacity?
No.
Oh, well, I thought for sure that you would have had conversations along the way.
No,
I kept it a secret, TJ. You called me, and I didn't want it to get out until you.
I figured
announced.
you would have spilled the beans in St. Louis to some people, and I didn't care. Who cares? You know.
I told one person.
Okay, all right.
I let Jack Pilgrim know.
What?
I know.
Because this morning on Just the Cats, Michael Bennett said the exact same thing, and I thought that I was like, oh, is this just a radio bit that every show is going to do today? Because this is already.
Is Michael Bennett announced today?
He announced that he's going back to iHeartRadio as a joke.
Oh,
that was a joke.
Yeah, his was April Fool's. So I was like, is this just a radio bit that I'm going to hear 11 times today?
Hilarious, man.
I had no idea.
Funny.
I was like, wow, you got a little funny little group chat going on.
Not a bit, unfortunately, but no. And I told the station that like when you're out on the road, if you need help or if I can fill in, I told Peak if I can help, I will be around. So you'll still be hearing from me, but
I'm gonna drag TJ to some of these remotes.
I love going to the remotes. I love getting out and about and seeing people. That's one thing we didn't get to do in the morning radio show that we got to do later when we got to do noon. And you missed a bunch of the remotes, so Roush would have to fill in when we were out at like Molly's and
when the football stuff was, or whatever basketball was going on.
You're so appreciative for Roush. I'll do some of that. What Roush was doing, I'll do some of this summer. We got a World Cup this summer, which will be great.
Mm-hmm.
The Batcats are in a good spot, projected to be a 2 seed right now. But I think on one hand, it's maybe I should have taken a break from radio a while back. On the other hand, I could see myself doing this the rest of my life. Just to put it bluntly and truthfully, because I don't lie on radio, if like the money was totally different, then this would be different. But this is a mom and pop radio shop, so you know what you're kind of getting into here. The money is solid. It's been nice, and I've been very appreciative just to get $1 to do the things that I would do for free. But no, I'm just gonna take the summer, work really hard at the other job, and see where things go.
But the show is still going on.
The show is still going on.
Peak now.
It's going to be Stephen Peak's Kentucky Roll Call.
Finally.
And agreed, it's going to be more producer Matt talking.
It will be.
And then I think the plan is for Peak to have all the same guests.
We're going to have
even more guests.
Yeah. Well, I've reached out to some people, not without telling them that TJ would be leaving, and just kind of let them fill them out and see what they would think about coming in and being part of the show once or a few times a week. So we have a long list of people and really good guests that I'm excited about, that it's going to carry us to the summer until TJ comes back. Or he doesn't.
I would love to be able to talk Will Stein football. And kind of somewhat surreal, like Will Stein.
You have pictures of like you and him when you all were kids. You have to come back and talk about it.
Yeah, like it's gonna be a good time. And then again, this is probably the make or break year of the Mark Pope era. Maybe not. That's gonna be fun to talk about. So hopefully it all works out in the long run. But we'll see where things go. 502-414-1450, the Gameday Men's Health text line. We're going to see where things go with Jeff Brom at U of L. I'm not in the scoop game. I don't ever get really information because I don't seek it out and just don't care to. But every so often, somebody will reach out to me and say, did you hear about this? Or did you hear about that? Or did you talk to anybody that knew anything about this or that? And this was, did you hear about Jeff Brom storming out of a meeting with Josh Hurd? And I actually think the truth ended up being Jeff Brom kicked out Josh Hurd of the meeting.
That's what I heard too.
Yeah. So I think the person, I think initially, or one of the things, the initial scuttlebutt I heard actually got it a little backwards. But doesn't matter. Regardless, the athletic director at U of L met with the football coach on behalf of the football coach who called the meeting and wanted to talk about the contract negotiations, the extension that has been discussed now for, I believe, about a calendar year, if not even longer than that. But it especially got hot and heavy when the Penn State Nittany Lions started reaching out and calling. And that's when things got interesting. Brom flirted with that job like ever so slightly, just enough to make U of L nervous, but not enough where he obviously was totally interested in that job. The timing was really strange that the Penn State moving truck about a month before was photographed in a neighborhood near Jeff Brom's. That was just, I guess, coincidental when it was all said and done. But U of L, Jeff Brom, similar to Billy Gillespie and Mitch Barnhart, they had a handshake agreement. We're going to do an extension. We appreciate you staying. We know what you're worth, and you'll be compensated fairly. Well, now what? It's been 3+ months since then. There has been no deal, no extension. And that's a little bit misleading because when Brom wins 7 games or whatever the stipulation is, he actually has been extended annually the last 2 years. So his contract goes through 2030. So he has technically been extended. His contract is a longer deal now than it was. But in this instance, it may actually hurt Brom, who says, all right, well, my annual bump-ups, they ain't where market value's at right now. Y'all need to pay me more. And I very rarely toot my own horn. Anybody that's listened to Kentucky Roll Call, I'm probably one of the more humble people in sports radio. But this is something that I did call out in December, a year ago, 2 years ago, when Jeff Brom was hired. At some point, when is the family discount not going to be good enough for Brom? Seriously. Like, when is the, oh, you're a U of L guy, you're from Louisville, your family's here, we know you want to be here. Do you know what I found out today? Purdue's coach gets paid more than Jeff Brom. Purdue's current coach, I don't think Purdue has won a combined 3 or 4 games since Jeff Brom has left. I could be wrong about that. I'm joking. They have, but it's probably like 7 or 8.
I want to see how many it was.
It's really not many. Their coach is getting paid more than than Jeff Brom is.
Purdue's coach makes like 70 grand more.
Still more.
$5.9 million compared to $6,050,000.
And I would think, and I don't want to speak for you, and I want a genuine reaction from
They were
you.
2-10 last year.
Yeah, it's no surprise. Could you imagine going 2-10?
Okay, they've won 3 games in 2 years.
Yeah, that's insane.
That's insane.
Producer Matt.
3-21.
Do you think Jeff Brom should be making more than the Purdue head coach?
I think Jeff
Does that
Brom,
bother you?
I think Jeff Brom should be making more than top 45 money easily. He's 43rd on the list of highest paid coaches. I think he's a top 30 coach bare minimum.
Oh, man, this is good stuff.
I think he's better than Kirk Ferentz at Iowa.
I think you agree with that.
I think he's better than Pat Narduzzi at Pittsburgh.
Yep, I think you could agree to that. I think Narduzzi got one on him maybe, but you all got him last year.
It's one where this is unacceptable to me.
There you go.
Like I said, this is something that really angered me when I saw it.
Get him.
I can't. Like I said before in the first segment, I think Josh Hurd's done a great job so far. Maybe not a fantastic one, but with what he's had and the time he's had, I think he's done a good job, great job. This would be a big enough stain on his tenure that I would want him gone.
Wow.
If he didn't figure this out,
That's
I would.
a hot
I would
radio bag, Matt. Get it, baby.
Get this bozo out of here.
The Peak and Matt show, that's the kind of takes that we're going to need. In all seriousness, it is unacceptable that Purdue's head football coach is making more than U of L's head coach. Look at what Purdue football has done
7-29 in 3 years.
And look what U of L has done recently.
Yeah.
And honestly, if you want to talk about nil, I have heard, I don't know if this is true or not, it's a complicated situation. Because on the one hand, you want to talk out of one side of your mouth, but on the other hand, if you're like Brom, you want to talk out on the other side of your mouth. I've heard that U of L doesn't have top half of the ACC nil for football. I don't know if that's true. It doesn't seem to be true.
I heard that last season.
I don't think they're top 3.
I
I don't think they're top 3, but top half, really. Top half. I could see them being 4 or 5 or something like that. But let's just pretend and let's say they're not top 5. And he has given U of L 9-win seasons, ACC championship games, and he may not be top 5 in nil in the ACC, which has been underwhelming as a football conference as of late. Like, good night. What are you doing? And then meanwhile, Pat Kelsey, not to bring him into it because he has nothing to do with it, but allow me to bring him into it despite him having nothing to do with it. He has top 10 nil in college basketball, and he can't make the Sweet 16. And I'm not throwing stones at a glass house. Mark Pope has been underwhelming, and have we talked about that. So much so I'm going to take a little break from talking about it. All right? But I don't know. I feel like if I was Josh Hurd, I'd be like, all right, hey, Pat, I'm going to make sure you have money. We want to be good in basketball. But our priority, we have to go where the winning is. And Brom has been winning. You have not been winning. So let's make sure the nil is where it is to make Brom happy. And then we need to make some promises and agreements to him. And it seems like coaches, understandably so, shout out Mark Stoops, shout out John Calipari, they want long-term deals. What would it be to Josh Hurd to be like, dude, you know what? We'll give you a little bit of an annual pay bump, but what if we give you a good old-fashioned, say it with me, everybody, lifetime contract?
Yeah.
No U of L fans ever going to want Brom out of town. Realistically, he's not. And the ACC is mediocre enough where he's always going to be competitive. I can't imagine him going 4-8 or 3-9.
He's going to be in the playoffs soon.
Yeah, and he probably will be. And if he has a total one offer of a bad season, it will be a one offer. What is Josh Hurd thinking about here? Like, what is he? And the way that the conversation went down, supposedly, where Brom was like, hey, when the Penn State stuff went down, you told me this, you told me that. And again, this is the way it's been reported, and I've heard it from somebody that I trust, that Hurd had the audacity to say, well, did Penn State really offer you? Do you have it in writing? Brom was supposedly enraged. Supposedly just like, are you kidding me? We're actually going to talk about the semantics of if I had a written official offer sent to my representation. It didn't matter if I did or didn't. They wanted me. They were talking about me. And I told you that I was committing to you. It does seem that U of L is taking advantage of Jeff Brom for him being a local guy. For the hometown discount is taking it too far, which is something. Again, toot toot. Something that I mentioned that like at some point push is going to come to shove where he's going to say, all right, y'all can pay. I will take a discount. But you got to understand, Florida wants me. Penn State wants me. I will always be mentioned for these jobs because I'm making U of L a contender here. Y'all got to play ball a little bit. And it seems like Josh Hurd is saying no. So I know that you've got takes. I know that producer Matt has takes. One thing I just want to, in defense of Josh Hurd, because you got to look at both sides of this.
Mm-hmm.
I think U of L just doesn't have money.
I think that's what it is.
The long and short of it.
Don't you think he would be an obvious, like,
we want to do whatever we can to make you happy. Yeah. And I think Hurd is just realizing, like, I have to play hard guy, boss, man, and money's tight. You know, it's like Michael Scott when they're giving out raises and stuff like that. It's like money's tight.
Find the bean. The bean.
What's the bean mean? I think Josh Hurd is like, I've got to do my job. We love you, obviously. We love the job that you're doing. I just can't put the university in a terrible spot. My job is to look out for all athletics, not just for Jeff Brom. That's what Josh Hurd would say, in my opinion.
Hasn't that always been the issue, though? I mean, Louisville has always been, at least in my lifetime, and with football, a stepping. You do well at Louisville, then you go to the NFL and you fail there, and then you go to Arkansas. Like that, you don't hang around Louisville after you've had success, right? I mean, so I think that's always been the issue. They couldn't afford to pay Bobby Petrino to keep him.
That's a good point.
I mean, it is interesting though. Like Will Stein is getting $5.5 million. He has never been a head coach before, and he's getting $5.5 million. And what is Brom getting again? Like just shy of $6 million.
He's getting over $6 million.
I mean, Jeff, he is getting over $6 million.
Yeah, he is getting he's getting like your 5.981, so just under 6. You're right.
Okay.
So round up.
Yeah, we can say it's 6, but we can also, I mean, technically we can round up Will Stein.
I think these are also from last year because there's coaches on here that were fired. Like, so I'd say it's probably with him getting 8 wins, it's probably over 6 now.
Okay, but it's still like really, really close to Will Stein, who has not won a game yet. Jeff Brom is worth. I mean, I'm a Kentucky fan and a Will Stein fan and a former Will Stein teammate for a season. I love Will Stein. I think he's going to do great things. He is not worth the same as Jeff Brom. Jeff Brom's worth a lot more than him. Would you all agree with that?
And I hope in 3 years we'd be like, man, they knew that he was going to be a college football playoff coach, and they knew that Will Stein had the chops. But you're totally right.
Well, I'm fine with him getting paid what he's getting paid. I'm saying Jeff Brom should be getting paid a lot more.
Fair enough, too. Yeah, but your point is totally fair. Jeff Brom should be making probably significantly more money than Will Stein.
Jeff Brom is 43rd on this list I'm looking at. Do you have Mike Norvell's 45th?
Well,
who do you think is at 44 in between? Can you just give a guess?
I could not.
What conference?
I don't even want to tell you.
Oh, no.
The MAC?
Is it the Boise State head coach?
No, it's worse.
What? Boy.
Jamie Chadwell is 44th from Liberty in Conference USA at $5.
They do have money over there.
They do have a ton of money at Liberty.
Jeff Brom makes less than $50,000 a year more than Jamie Chadwell.
Wow. I feel like you said less and more in the same sentence.
I got what he was saying.
Sorry.
50, yeah. Less than $50,000 more.
Yes, that's what I meant.
Okay.
There you go. I know.
Didn't have the calculator in front of me to give the exact
numbers are hard. That's why nobody got into radio because of the numbers. I can tell you that much right now. But point being, hallelujah, at least the controversy is back at U of L. I was doing another radio hit earlier today, Stephen Peak, and it was just like, I got into radio when U of L was just you got confused which scandal you were even talking about.
What happened yesterday?
Because there were so many of them.
Cypher and the
exactly right. That was just the name of the game. Adidas stuff, FBI stuff. It was all good. And then the last couple of years, unfortunately, the controversy has been in Lexington, and that has not been as fun. In all seriousness, it has been fun to talk about that stuff. It's fun to talk about any of that stuff if people aren't doing things that they should be doing. But it seems like it's back at U of L now. Football coach, athletic director, not on the same page. And seems like an easy fix for Hurd. Okay, sorry, here's money. Are you happy now? Yep, I'm happy now. That's all I wanted to begin with. Seems like an easy fix, right? Okay, sorry. Should have gotten you this money to begin with. Don't know how we'll pay you if there's a buyout or something happens, but we can all agree to it. We'll worry about that later. And then there's probably some truth to the fact that, like, the Kenny Payne buyout, these buyouts are putting U of L in a tougher spot. But that's not Josh Hurd's fault. I mean, the Kenny Payne one, maybe. Maybe you should have just interviewed that dude and been like, oh, no. No, I can't hire you.
Well, maybe you should have fired him after the first year. You can't go 4-28.
Yeah, that's really
Then
really
they probably
paying
paying him even more.
Well, that's true, too.
But it was really hard. And the Titanic was sinking. And
that was year 0. Tyler didn't have his tights. Actually, I think that was year 2. 502-414-1450, the Gameday Men's Health text line. Let's read a couple texts into the show. Who will be the third guesser for trivia? Oh, Stephen Peak will have to worry about that himself. But tomorrow we will be doing it, and I will be here for, I guess, my
final one.
Last Trivia Thursday for a while.
Ugh.
Not ever. I'm sure, again, there'll be a Thursday I'll fill in, or there'll be a remote on a Thursday or something like that.
I'm just going to call you every day and just say, hey, you want to do the radio today? And just
be like, just put the ball in my court.
Yeah.
Be like, nah.
Every day. Make you turn it down every day.
If I'm really... What happened there?
Did we still in the air?
Yeah, we're on the air. It just did the board thing again.
Oh, no, after they fixed it, too.
Let them know that just happened.
Unbelievable. I will say the podcasting issues did not make me any more likely to stay. I will say that. Hopefully, if I do come back, we'll get all that stuff figured out, and maybe I'll actually have some autonomy.
That's going to be one of my
maybe I'll have the logins.
Yeah, I'm going to be one of my top priorities to recruit you back is to get the podcast back up.
I think if I were to come back, I'd almost just have to start fresh on the podcast.
Really?
Like, I know that's
we still have that photo of you and Ralph.
We can't even change the photo on the thing, and nobody's been able to even do that. And I'm not calling anybody out specifically. I wish I could, but I don't have the access to it. But sorry about the podcast. Luckily, we're okay on the YouTube.
The Big X on the podcast app. You can look at the Big X. You'll see all the shows on there, too.
South and Josh says Matt looks very angry on the YouTube stream.
I am very angry.
About which particular thing?
It should be happening.
The Josh Hurd stuff or the board stuff?
I mean, both. Neither of it should be happening.
You're annoyed with all of it.
It's an annoying day.
502-414-1450. Gameday Men's Health, redefining men's wellness. No shortcuts, just results. Testosterone, peptides, weight loss, sexual performance therapy. You can go to GamedayMen'sHealth.com. They're redefining a new era in men's health. We love Gameday Men's Health. We love that text line, especially here on a hump day. Fun stuff with Jacob yesterday. He was in yesterday. Go back, listen to the podcast or the YouTube stream. Podcast being uploaded to Big X Sports Radio. But good stuff on the roster construction, what to look forward to moving, or what UK is going to be doing moving forward, and what fans should be looking forward to, I should say. And I've got a couple takes on that, and what other teams, what some rival teams plan on doing, and where the crossover is there. So we'll talk about all that and more here on Kentucky Roll Call Wednesday edition of the show. Stephen Peak, producer Matt Childers, TJ Walker, back after this.
You personally.
I think we ain't doing it.
With Walker and Peak.
Welcome back. Hour number 2, Kentucky Roll Call here on Big X Sports Radio. Stephen Peak, TJ Walker, producer Matt Childress.
Only 5 more hours of TJ Walker.
I may produce one of those. Maybe on Friday I'll produce so I can like put in the fart jokes or and do the breaking news sound and do some of that stuff. That was fun producing there for a while, but producer Matt does a much better job of it than I do. So we're in good hands there. Get your text into the Gameday Men's Health text line 502-414-1450. Gameday Men's Health. There we go. That's what I was looking for. There you go. All right, so the April Fool's joke, I did blow it for what it's worth.
Oh, you did?
I did.
Your dad was listening.
He was listening.
Dang.
But he hadn't been in the
office.
office.
Did you tell your dad at least? Hang on, real quick. Did you tell your dad that you were leaving? Did he find out just now from listening to the show?
I think he had an idea, but no, I didn't specifically tell him.
What? That is so wild to me.
Yeah. So St. Patrick's Day, my dad, an elderly man, especially if he's listening, very, very old. Frail as all get out. He does have issues with technology, which admittedly, as I get older and like I struggle with this, that, or the other, I can relate more with him. But like logins, passwords, so many people can relate. My dad certainly can. He tried to just get like probably 50% off his order, not 50% off, probably 50 cents off his order at McDonald's. So instead, he struggled through trying to sign his app during the drive-thru. Mm-hmm. Couldn't do it. Said, I'm going to come in. He came in. Still couldn't figure out the app. In the process, the clock passed 10:30, went to 10:31, which means they were no longer serving breakfast. He was getting frustrated. They told him, anyways, even if you do figure out your app, we're not serving breakfast anymore. That set him off. He was asked to leave the store. And that's the story on how my dad was kicked out of a McDonald's. So, 2 weeks later, I, with the help of AI formatting, although the words were mostly mine, with the help of the AI formatting, I wrote this letter to him for him to see today. I think I blew the whole thing, but it would have been funny. And I said, Dear Mr. Walker, official notice of permanent ban from all McDonald's locations. Following a detailed review of our in-store security cam footage on March 17th at approximately 10:31 a.m., McDonald's Corporation has concluded that your behavior at restaurant number 47892, which is made up, violated our guest conduct policy and fell far short of our standards we expect from a McCustomer.
A McCustomer. I love how. Okay.
There's a lot of little hints like that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of little hints like that. Even though everything looks official, there's a few hints like that.
This on letterhead?
Letterhead, yep.
Okay, perfect.
The footage shows you becoming visibly frustrated and using profanity towards our crew members after learning you had arrived 1 minute too late for breakfast service. While we understand the disappointment of missing your favorite McMuffin, McDonald's requires all guests to treat our team with respect and courtesy at all times. Your conduct was unbecoming and unacceptable. Effective immediately, you, Terry Walker, are permanently banned from every McDonald's restaurant across the United States. This nationwide ban covers all locations, applies 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. Any future attempt to enter McDonald's property will be treated as trespassing and may result in involvement of local law enforcement. Furthermore, as a permanently banned individual, you will receive no assistance with the McDonald's mobile app or any other digital services moving forward. If you were experiencing issues with the app on March 17th, you can be certain those and any new ones will continue indefinitely. The decision is final, only appealable through the Grimace Court, and has been documented under incident number blah, blah, blah. We thank you for your past patronage, and we wish you success in all future dining experiences elsewhere.
Oh, man,
Sincerely,
what a bummer.
Jennifer Ramirez.
What a bummer that you didn't get. I would have loved to have known his response to that.
Yeah, I think I totally blew it, though, because he was listening to the radio show.
Dang.
So, man, that's tough. Terry Sr. banned from all McDonald's
Do you think
stores.
he would have bought it on April 1st?
Yeah, I think he actually would have at least started reading this and been outraged.
Oh man.
Yeah, I think we actually
Did you
could have
got him to
gotten
call? Like, did
No,
you get the
I
number?
think he would have read through it and eventually
figured it
been
out.
like Grimace Court. I don't
Yeah.
know about that. McCustomer.
I just got again on,
Oh, no.
on Twitter.
What happened this time?
The blue field.
Oh yeah, so UK's getting in on it. I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, UK football
I
tweeted
was
out
like,
that they're
what?
going
No,
to have a
that's
blue
kinda-
field moving forward.
I was about to ask you how you felt about that. I'm like, man, I can't believe we didn't talk about this in the first hour, and then
Did you see what Boise State said?
cease and desist.
Yeah, the Boise State
that's
quoted this.
that's the one I saw. Yeah.
Yeah, good stuff. UK is not changing their field to blue turf, although I would be for it.
This
Why
will not
not?
be the last time.
That you fall for something?
Yeah, that for the rest of the day. That I will. It's only 1 o'clock. I will fall for something again before I go to bed.
Did you see the Matt Gaetz alien thing? I kept
did
thinking yesterday reading on this. I was
I
like,
sent it to you guys.
they're just going to come back tomorrow and be like, it's April Fool's. That was a wild thing. I don't think it is April Fool's. I think it's a real thing.
That was okay. So you have a former congressperson. Did a senator retweet it or somebody running for Senate? I think I saw. I should have been more
I think
diligent.
there's an Australian senator who has been like, I know about this.
Okay.
Or some politician in Australia.
So we either here's the two options that we have for this story, and this is great. I sent this to you guys. I was like, this is a good radio topic. I don't care if it's a sports show or not. We have two options, TJ, to follow up with this story. Either one, they're telling the truth. Because they would be somewhat in the know, right? I mean, this is Matt Gaetz served as in Congress for how long?
He was a representative for just a few years. He wasn't there.
He was in the news a lot for those few years.
Yes, he was.
Not always positive things, but he was in the news. And like you said, somebody from so you have people higher ups in the government. I mean, I know he's just he's just a representative. He's in the House of Representatives.
Yes.
It's not like he has a little bit less power than a senator,
he's
but
not
he
a
can be
senator.
privy to some information as the word goes, spreads. Or two, they're just so hungry for attention that they literally just make stuff up, or they say stuff that they think would be interesting. People would want to hear.
Matt Gaetz said, I had someone come and brief me who was in military uniform, worked for the United States Army, that was briefing me on the locations of hybrid breeding programs where captured aliens were breeding with humans to create some hybrid race that could engage in intergalactic communication. An actual uniformed member of the United States Army briefed me on that. Gaetz added that recovered craft crashes examined by the CIA contained non-human biologics with non-identifiable human sources. This is straight from a sitting congressman under oath level clearance. No speculation, just what he says was officially briefed, says the report.
Why? Why would they brief? Why are they briefing Matt Gaetz on this?
I was going to say, like,
but then
it just has to be like, all right, let's tell Matt Gaetz something absolutely ludicrous and see if he ever spills the beans on it.
Oh, you think that there's like a kind of like they test out people with stuff?
I think that's actually a strategy.
But
that
why?
Because
then if you go into a podcast and you say that this happens, and people are going to believe that.
They when he was briefed, he was in the government, so they thought, all right, he may be in the government for the next 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
You know how these dinosaurs are. He may be in the government. He was only 40, I think. Then he may be in the government the next 60 years, and then he'll really hit his prime after that. Probably.
He's only 43.
So they probably thought, all right, if he's going to be in the government for a long time, if this ever leaks, we'll know that it came from Matt Gaetz. We'll know that Matt Gaetz was the one who leaked the hybrid alien breeding program. He can't be trusted. We'll put him on a list. I think that's probably what this is. I don't think we're actually breeding with aliens.
You don't believe that?
And if we were, that would explain Elon Musk.
Okay. Yeah, maybe. It's just of all this news that comes out, we can't even keep up with it anymore. There's been so many crazy things but it does it makes it to where, okay, if there ever is something like this that comes out, no one is what are they gonna do? And even if they prove it, was that AI? How am I gonna believe this? We have a former representative. What state was he representing again?
Florida.
That's right, Florida. I mean, and if you're Newsweek, like Newsweek has to cover the story. I'm looking at the Newsweek article right now. Like, who else? Everybody else has to cover the
There's a
story.
lot of alien talk. At some point, either show us some weird little green guy, or just shut the hell up about it.
Yeah, I'm
I'm out on aliens. I believe less and less the more that I hear more and more.
All of the cameras that we have now, and we haven't really gotten, and we've gotten some stuff, some flying, unidentified flying objects.
Yeah.
The stuff from the military was wild. We had the car-sized drones, but that ended up being just like a company testing out their car-sized drones, I guess, flying cars, if you will. And there's this. Then Barack Obama said something a few weeks ago.
Yeah, the Obama comments.
Yeah, that he was he joking? Like, is it taken out of context? What was the full context of that? Do you remember? I mean, he didn't say that there were aliens, right? Or that
I think what he was saying was that he thinks there's more. What he ended up clarifying was he thinks there's more out there, but he was never,
right. That's right.
never briefed on anything like that.
Like he's saying that in the vast universe, there's probably some living thing.
He ended up spinning it around as like, I was just talking very generically, like, yeah, there's probably life out there somewhere. Hey, is Elijah Haven going to commit to Kentucky? What's the latest there?
It's a good question.
The number one QB, Elijah Haven.
4 SEC teams.
He's closing in on a college commitment. Plans on committing here pretty soon, although supposedly he's a great basketball player.
Who are the schools? He's from Alabama. Sorry, go ahead.
He's from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Right? Is that so? Yeah, I believe that's correct.
Oh, sure. Yes.
He's gonna
St. George, Louisiana.
He's gonna commit at the end of April. Within the next 4 weeks. He is going to visit Alabama, Auburn, and Georgia again, but Kentucky is on the list.
All SEC teams going after.
And he will visit the 3 other places, though.
What do you think? I mean, what does your gut tell you? I mean, Will Stein's doing great. Do you think he pulls a 5-star away from those 3 schools? I mean, that would be really impressive.
Yeah, he said Coach Sloan, the offensive coordinator at UK, Joe Sloan. Coach Sloan has continued to recruit me. He and Coach Stein came here to visit me. They were both super sharp guys, very straight up with me. You can tell how excited they were about this year, what they've been building in their program. That's something my family looks for. The Kentucky program is new, and they're excited to build something there. They're excited to build a new culture there. All right, that's what he said about Kentucky. Do we want to see what he said about the other schools?
I mean, I'm interested if you have it already there.
Here's what he said about Auburn. We went there junior day, and the coaches were super welcoming. I love the culture there. Everyone is minding their P's and Q's. That was nice to see. All right, between those 2 quotes, which one do you think was more? Which one do you feel better about?
I don't know. I guess I feel better about Kentucky. I don't know.
I think Kentucky. I don't think the Kentucky one was overly glowing, basically being like, yeah, it's a new coach, and they're pumped about where things are going. But at least he didn't say that UK's minding their P's and Q's.
Yeah.
You ain't going to a school because their coaches minded their P's and Q's.
Right.
Right? Like so, hey, why'd you pick Auburn? Well, their coaches, they were minding their P's and freaking Q's. Like,
I did not consider the Joe Sloan connection there to Louisiana, and that probably helps.
All right. Probably the bigger competition in this. Alabama and Georgia. You want to hear what he said about the Dogs?
Let's hear it.
Honestly, Georgia is a school that really stands out. No serious coaching changes that we know of. Coach Smart is a great coach. When you see on TV is what you get in real life. The same coach, or the same with Coach Mike Bobo. They're on their stuff, and if I commit there, I know I would grow as a person and a player. That's one thing that really stood out about the program for sure. So I think we can all probably say that seems a little bit more glowing than the Kentucky quote. Certainly more than the P's and Q's. All right, so you may have to give Georgia the nod. Why would anybody want to go play football at Georgia over Kentucky? It'd have to be described to me, but I think just based on the quote, here's what he said about Alabama. My family and I think so highly of the program. With Coach Sheridan getting the opportunity at Michigan State, it was important for us to get back and get the vibe for the program. Honestly, I feel like they didn't miss a beat. I met Coach Ellis, and he's a great guy, a great coach. Super excited to get back up there. They definitely have a high standing in mine and my family's heart.
Okay.
Similar to Kentucky.
Yeah, that's
and I can
that's the
see why
one.
he threw out the Georgia, they have no coaching change quote, because every other place is going through some changes.
That makes sense now. Yeah.
And still, I see.
It's tough competition.
It'd be huge. I do think Will Stein needs a ginormous splash. And while I was very happy with the job that he did in the transfer portal heading into this 2026 season, his biggest fish were probably offensive linemen, which aren't the sexiest thing.
Yeah, but that's what
I love it. I personally love it. But I think he does need like a big splash that can sell across even just the average fan. Because I don't think the average Kentucky football fan, you're going to be like, man, we got one of the best interior linemen in the portal. They'd be like, okay, cool. Who's our running back? Who's our quarterback? Who's our wide receiver?
Right.
And I like what they did there, especially at quarterback and running back. Taking a gamble at running back, I think. Wide receiver, TBD.
I do think, though, that fans are becoming more educated about the game of football. And I say that because and for me, I do get the added benefit of traveling and working with Nick Roush and Adam Luckett, who really understand the game, and talking with TJ Walker, who really understands the game. And so learning that, like, the sexy positions really aren't where you're going to win a title. And so, yeah, I agree with you that getting a big name like that, saying you got this 5-star quarterback, saying that you beat out those 3 schools for him would be huge as far as, like, just getting everybody on board, getting people like me, your average fan, to get on board with what Will is doing, what the football program is doing. But Big Blue Wall is where it's at. Like, we've known that. We've had some really great quarterbacks and never could do better than 7 and 5.
Yeah.
We've had great wide receivers and great running backs, but couldn't do really better than 7 and 5.
Will Levis.
And yeah, but that was with and not that 2007's offensive line was bad or anything, but we improved at that particular area, and that's what led Kentucky to having some really good seasons and made it to where you could just throw a freaking wide receiver at quarterback and go out there and win 7 games. So or 8 games, sorry. So I agree with you, but I do think that fans are educating themselves a little bit more about the game, and I like the strategy. Let's build up the Big Blue Wall, and then then those guys, that 5-star quarterback is going to want to come play Kentucky because he's going to get protected. Yep,
and that could be a big deal for Minchie this upcoming season.
That's what's also big. I'm looking at clips right now. Is that we're going to have 11 personnel is going to come on right after our show on the KSR YouTube channel, and just some of the clips they have from practice of Minchie. I know they're showing the best stuff. I understand that, but he does. It's connecting on some of those deep balls. It's going to be real fun to watch the ball get thrown down the field again. Cutter did a little bit of that last year, but really since Will Levis, we hadn't seen a whole lot of it.
Well, I'll say this a lot too. It is worth mentioning. I know UK fans got frustrated mainly because it didn't work, but like Will Stein's going to play he's going to do a bunch of screens. He's going to do a bunch of stuff at the line of scrimmage. He's going to do a bunch of just out plays where the wide receiver is hoping to make one guy miss. You will see plenty of down the field, air it out, take your shots, take your home run balls. But I know UK fans would get frustrated just with the stuff at the line of scrimmage. You still are going to see that for what it's worth. And you know what? Sometimes Will Stein, and he said this publicly, where he'll do those plays knowing that they probably won't work, hoping that they could, hoping that a defender misses a tackle. But you set that stuff up to get the home run balls, to set the big stuff up.
Exactly. That way, that's one of the things I remember from a young age. You got to set up the run. Yeah, whatever. Establish the run to set up the pass, all that stuff.
That's totally true. 502-414-1450, Gameday Men's Health text line. Want to tell you about the 2026 Big X Sports Radio golf card. By far the best deal in the game. You can play Park Mammoth, Old Capitol, Elk Run, Valley View, Wooded View, Christmas Lake, and Santa Claus, Indiana. The card's valued at over $350, but you can purchase yours today for just $149. Supplies are limited, so get your card at Big X Sports Radio golf card or bigxsportsradio.com. 812-725-1457. bigxsportsradio.com. Those courses are great. Check them out. And then again, I think you're going to be hitting the road and going to some of those courses over the summer, and I think I'm going to be joining you on some of those.
Oh, yeah.
So,
awesome. Okay, cool.
As long as they make sure I get to play golf for free.
Is that part of the deal?
Better be.
Oh, okay. Well, it is for you.
Previously, it has been.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
When they have us out there, they will let us play. And then still, I think I'm going to help out with the Big X Sports Radio Golf Scramble. So I think that's still going to be
Neat.
a thing as well. So a lot of fun stuff heading forward on Big X Sports Radio. Texter on the Gameday Men's Health text line says, if we don't get Stokes, just cross out his name on the check and sign it on over to Tyler Tanner. Did you see the latest with this?
Have not. So has he officially hit the portal?
Well, portal's not
Well,
open.
that's not open. Okay.
Not
yeah,
open.
Yeah.
No, but yes, he has with some interesting words as well. I forget exactly.
His agency announced.
Yeah,
stuff?
that
Yeah.
he's looking for nil representation.
Okay.
That he is. Yes, that's what it was. But
He's pretty good.
yeah, that's a
And
pretty big
You
deal.
have him for 2 years, and he's another. You're going to be a junior next year.
Yeah. So Tyler Tanner, I think he's projected first round. I think he's like thought to be an NBA pick, and at different times could have been in the lottery, but I know this is an absolutely stupid good draft. He is hitting the portal, but the representation's being pretty clear that this is nil related. Who's going to pay this dude a lot of money?
Yeah. So that's to your point about him being in the draft. ESPN currently has him at the second pick of the second round.
Okay.
So
just
another
missing
one
out on the first round.
Others do have him like 29th, 30th. So that's, I mean,
I mean Tyler Tanner would be incredible. That would be, yes, absolutely, Texter. I couldn't agree more. If you can go this is a 6-foot guard in the SEC that averaged 20 points per game and 5 assists. You should honestly forget about Tyron Stokes and offer him $2 million more, whatever you're going to pay Stokes. If you have Tyler Tanner next year, you're locked into being pretty darn good. He averaged 26.5 points per game in the NCAA tournament. In the SEC tournament, he was
almost
just
made one
shy
of the
of
best
20.
shots ever.
Oh, yeah. In the SEC tournament, he was just a few points shy of averaging 20 points per game as they went on to lose in the SEC championship to Arkansas. Tyler Tanner is incredible. Now, I think he could go back to Vandy. I think you could have the Nashville businesses be like, all right, let's pool money together. Vandy was good at basketball. Let's get this kid back. I could see that. I could see him going to the draft. I don't think that's going to happen, though. I don't think he will go to the draft.
This gives me a situation where he could go to the draft, but he could probably make pretty good money one more year and then go to a softer draft next year and get a better spot.
Softer draft next year, or he could just say, listen, I'm a 6-foot guard. Draft they're never going to love me. I'm just going to go make $3-4 million a year playing college basketball, and then I'll give the NBA a go.
Gosh, it just
and we'll
think
see if it
Tyler
works out or if it
would
doesn't
have
work
played
out.
4 years at Kentucky. That's just,
Yeah,
man,
no
it
doubt
hurts.
about it. So
That-
Tyler Tanner's somebody that you offer the Brinks truck to, all of it, and then you say Tyler, you say Tyron Stokes too after if you get his commitment. Then you'd have to get big guys and stuff. So yeah, you'd still need to worry about that. But 20 points per game, 5 assists in the SEC. Yeah, he is your top dog in the transfer portal. A texter says 3 of the 4 players we've been linked to are left-handed. Incredible bit. I could never in a million years, and maybe this just shows that I'm not as much of a basketball Benny as I think, I would never care about the hand of a player.
No.
I would just, are you better than this player? You're left-handed and you're better than this right-handed player that I'm considering? Well, I'd want the left-handed player. Oh, you're right-handed and you're better than this left-handed player that I'm considering? Well, I want the right-handed player. Again, I think some real basketball nerds would say, all right, but if you have a left-handed point guard with the way you can run your offense and the way defenders don't want to, but, maybe.
How many righties have won national championships? I mean, you know what I mean? Like,
Sure.
I do agree with you. I talked about it earlier
There
this week.
may be something there, but it's not
It's just
enough.
overthinking.
I agree.
It's just totally overthinking. Can most players, aren't they pretty good now at going with their opposite hand anyway? Like, I get that you don't want to pass them with their left hand if they're righty, but I mean, is this not just I get you don't want a lefty at shortstop, and you don't want to, left-handers do not occupy the infield of a baseball team ever, except for first base. But with basketball, I've never cared if they were left-handed or right-handed.
Well, interesting enough, this texter says, I think Josh Hubbard from Mississippi State, is a good litmus test whether you know ball. He has no business on a basketball team that is serious about winning. Josh Hubbard, the junior from Mississippi State, averaged over 22 points per game and 3.5 assists per game. We can just round that up to 4.
I've liked his game. Short guy. He has hit big shots against Kentucky. He nearly willed Mississippi State back in 2024.
Had 42 points in his senior day against Georgia. It was a loss.
42.
He
shoots a lot. He takes almost that's. And I don't think he's going to leave Mississippi, right? Is he trying to leave Mississippi?
I think he is planning on it.
Okay. This will be for senior year, right? He's been there 3 years. Okay.
Yeah. I could be wrong about that, but I'm pretty sure that he is going to try to go somewhere else, maybe. But then again, I'm just looking at it. I'm not seeing anything. So he hasn't, I don't think, officially entered the portal, unless I missed it. I could be convinced Josh Hubbard could be a good player surrounded by talent. He never really had that at Mississippi State. Had some decent players, but it was never more than just one and then maybe a decent role player. I could be convinced that if you surrounded Josh Hubbard with a lot of talent, that he could be good. I don't think it's definitive that shows you don't know ball if you think that Josh Hubbard at a Duke or a Kansas or a Kentucky or a Michigan State or something like that couldn't be a good player. Could be wrong, though. Could be wrong. He does need the ball in his hands. He needs to put up a bunch of shots. He's somebody that needs to probably miss 5, and then you still want him taking the next 5 because that's just the way he operates. So, yeah, he's a volume shooter for sure.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I actually like his game. I'm not really too interested in Kentucky going after him. If he was Kentucky's point guard, I just don't think it would work with how we want to play.
Honestly, like a place like Mississippi State seems perfect for him, or like a South Carolina where it's like, all right, listen, we don't have a ton of nil money, but we can go big on one dude, and the dude would be like Josh Hubbard.
Yeah.
And he would sell tickets, or it's like, hey, you come see this guy. He's averages 22 points per game in the SEC. He's fun. He can go fill it up. I can see him going to Georgia. I don't think he may say either I'm going to contender and I'm going to go play in a Final Four, or I'm just going to stay at Mississippi State and finish as one of the best ever. So I don't think he'd go to a place like Georgia, but he strikes me as, hey, we're not going to have a good team, but we have we have at least money for one good player. Can we go get?
How much longer do they keep the dentist there?
Oh, he'll have one more year.
Is he? In your opinion, is he doing enough even at Mississippi State to?
It's cavity season with Chris Jans. A lot of plaque.
That's just the place.
And he's catching a lot of flack.
Do you think he is? I mean, is he? Like, do Mississippi State fans care enough? Like,
they kind of cared under Rick Stansberry there for a little bit, but
they had some good teams.
They just jump on whatever's good. Baseball's good. They're baseball. Football gets
their
good
baseball
with that.
stadium is awesome.
They rock and roll for baseball.
Whenever we go to their campus, I'm always blown away by how nice their baseball stadium.
I actually think their campus is nice.
I say that every time I go.
I think they have a really nice campus.
We got there.
Just the town is non-existent.
So we went there for the game a couple years ago, 2025. Jackson Robinson, what do you have, 7 threes that game? We went there. We had to go early because there was a snowstorm coming in. And then when we get there, the whole town is shut down. And we try to go like to some place to get a drink at the end of the night. And they were like, there's this one place that's open, and it was in the parking lot of a Ramada Inn with caution tape around it. So we didn't go there. But yeah, that's Starkville. And I could see why maybe if you're Josh Hubbard, you might, I want to see some sites outside of Starkville, and I could probably understand that.
502-414-1450, Gameday Men's Health text line. A texter says, Hubbard is too much of a defensive liability to want per Jack and other dude on sources say. They think he'd be too risky for Pope with so much on the line next season. Yeah, I can default to that, but I also think you could do a lot worse than Josh Hubbard if we're just going to call a spade a spade. Like if you try to sell me on some dude from Cal State Fullerton that averaged 16 points per game, but he just needs a better opportunity, I don't know. I may lean – I'm just making that player up, although that player, there's like 17 of them in the transfer portal. I may lean towards just Josh Hubbard as the proven SEC commodity. So, yes, we can and should want to do better than Josh Hubbard if you're a UK fan. I also think you could do a lot worse. He's a good player. Like, you don't put up those points against good SEC teams unless you can score the rock.
No, 100%. Do we have to take our final break?
Yeah, let's go ahead and do it. We'll take one more commercial break. Come back, read more text into the Gameday Men's Health text line, and we'll eventually turn our attention to the Final Four this weekend. I'm really excited to talk about it. This is Kentucky Roll Call on Big X Sports Radio. Stephen Peak, producer Matt, TJ Walker, back after this.
Thank you.
502-414-1450, Game Day Men's Health text line. This is Kentucky Roll Call. Song's always on point with producer Matt. Stephen Peak, TJ Walker.
Big Lupe Fiasco guy.
Yeah. Good old Loopy. Good old Loopy. It is April Fool's Day. We haven't played any pranks on the show. I did reiterate one that I played with my father. Do you all have any that stand out in your life, whether in school or
the best one ever, TJ?
Oh, the best ever.
The best ever was done on PTI. Pardon the interruption. You can find the clip on YouTube. And it was around the time that it was Billy Gillespie had been let go. Kentucky's looking for a coach. We at that point, I think it was Calipari. It was Kentucky was finalizing a deal for Cal, and then it was on April 1st of 2009, and PTI did a whole segment. They led their show off with saying Kentucky has actually gone with Rick Pitino. And boy, did they get me.
Oh, no.
They got 19-year-old me bad. I was texting people. I was like, this is insane. They took Rick Pitino from Louisville. And they sold it so well. Have you ever seen that clip?
I have not.
Okay, I'll send it to the group. You guys need to see it.
Is there anything more embarrassing than when you're on Twitter or something and you read a story, jump on it, send it to somebody, and they're like, hey, man, that's fake.
Yeah, dude.
Or you're like, that is Jeff Goodman with 7 O's. You know, it's like, how did I not see that?
These accounts now, now I know, like, we know to, like, look and make sure. I check profiles now, and it'll say, basketball analyst, then it'll say satire somewhere in their bio.
Twitter allowing you to get a blue check just by paying for it, the worst thing that's ever happened.
Yeah.
I actually think it's a better thing.
Well, it's bad in that, like, guys like he's talking about can look legitimate.
Sure,
and then it's up to us to, like, do our due diligence as people on Twitter that are looking for news.
Fair enough. Yeah, I see that side of it. Some historically great April Fool's Day pranks. The BBC Spaghetti Harvest. In 1957, a series, the very serious BBC news program aired footage of Swiss farmers supposedly harvesting spaghetti from trees, and plenty of viewers bought it. They described it as one of the best-known April Fool's hoaxes ever. I actually have heard about this one. They aired footage of people just pulling, like, spaghetti noodles from trees, and a bunch of dumb Brits, bunch of silly Brits were like, how do we plant spaghetti trees? What do we have to do to get our spaghetti in our trees? Idiots.
That's just like a terrible prank. I mean, how do you fall for that?
50s were a different time, producer Matt.
Oh, it was in the 50s? Okay, that makes a lot more sense.
You didn't have AI. You couldn't Google. There is some truth. I've read stuff about this. Like, nothing is left up to the imagination anymore. If we want to see the top of Mount Everest, we can do it in 2 seconds. We want to see what the bottom of the ocean floor looks like, we can do it in 2 seconds. Mm-hmm. If we want to see what a raccoon carrying a rifle, riding a horse with a unicorn horn on its head, you can get AI to make a picture of that for you. When back in the day, you just used to have to use your imagination, or if you're really determined, you could go to the library and be like, all right, I want to look up this animal. Is there any chance this animal's ever maybe ridden another animal? Where could I go to find a picture of that potentially? You just had to use your imagination. So believing that spaghetti grew out of trees, you could see how it could happen. In 1962, Swedish television aired a segment claiming that people could turn their black and white TVs into color sets by stretching a nylon stocking over the screen, and a lot of people tried it. The prank is widely remembered as one of TV's classic hoaxes. I guess you just had to be there for that one. The Sid Finch prank from Sports Illustrated in 1985 is legendary in sports media. George Plimpton published a story about a mysterious Mets pitching prospect who could supposedly throw 168 miles per hour.
I saw this.
And wore one hiking boot while pitching. It was fake, but many readers believed it at first. That reminds me of what Rivals did, I believe, maybe back in 07 or 08. Stanford's Rivals page, coming off the heels of the Lopez twins era, they published a story on like Stanford.rivals.com, which was your go-to Stanford's. Mm-hmm. They posted that after the Lopez twins, whoever their coach was it Johnny Dawkins? Whoever it was way back then. He had found point guard Chinese twins.
Whoa.
and they were 7'2". That he had found the next new Lopez twins, and this was in China. And while that sounds probably so ridiculous to you, producer Matt, back in like 06 or 07, that was still the era where, I mean, even today, when you hear about a European prospect, you're like, well, I have no idea if they're good or not. I can watch some tape on them, and I guess they're playing in games, they're doing good things, but I have no idea if they're good basketball players. But back then, like, if you didn't find tape, you didn't find tape. You could find Americans. You could find 3-star, 4-star players that may not have tape on them. So the idea that there could be some Chinese point guards that were coming over to Stanford, a lot of people bought into that one. 1996, Taco Bell ran a newspaper ad claiming it had bought the Liberty Bell to help pay down the national debt, and they were going to rename it the Taco Liberty Bell. People were outraged. They called National Park Services, and that's obviously what made which made it a great success. And then another.
Okay.
April 1st, 2004, 22 years ago today, some people initially assumed that Google announced Gmail. They thought that it was an April Fool's joke because the free storage offer sounded too generous to be real. So when they announced that Gmail was a thing, a lot of people thought it was an April Fool's prank because, what? You're getting this mail service for free? But it was real and still gets mentioned. So you got Spaghetti Trees, the Taco Liberty Bell, and the Sports Illustrated 168-mile-per-hour Sid Finch prank. I don't remember if in high school we ever did an April Fool's Day prank. I remember senior day. You know, you'd always do some shenanigans.
Right, yeah.
What was that MTV show, the prank show, that they would do all the best pranks? That was a good time. No. Like Punked.
There was another
Punked.
one like that?
Yeah.
I don't know.
But it was all just senior spring break pranks. You know, the classic, like they release 3 goats into the...
Revenge prank. I'm actually just looking. I haven't even heard of this. Too Stupid to Die.
No, none of those.
None of those. All right.
High School Stories.
That's what it was?
It was called High School Stories.
Okay.
Scandals, Pranks, and Controversies. It was a great show. High School Stories. It was a great show. Highly recommend. I bet it'd hold up to this day, as a matter of fact. A texter on the Gameday Men's Health text line says, to be frank, I base a lot of my UK sports opinions on what the two of you, Jack, Jacob, Zach, say. It's why I listen and read. Always looking for opinions that don't seem to have an agenda or bias behind them, and I appreciate the honesty. Nick Roush, too. That texter also says, Girls Gone Wild.
Was that the prank show on MTV?
I don't think that was a prank, but boy, if you ever woke up around 3 a.m. back in like 2001.
Yeah, the ads were just playing on TV.
These girls.
It is kind of wild when you think about it.
Well, they had gone wild, yeah.
Yeah, okay, true.
They're willing.
What was the MTV2?
I'm do it. No, don't do it. I'm going to do it.
No, don't do it.
No, don't. It's going to be on camera.
Gosh, that's crazy.
I'm going to do it.
It's crazy they got so many people to be a part of that while they were drunk on spring break.
Yeah, I mean, it's
really wild.
It felt pretty predatory, really too. Like, oh, boy, here's what we do. We go to these college spring break towns.
I'm telling you, that is...
We find a bunch of drunk 18-year-old to 22-year-olds. And then we just kind of bully them into showing their privates. Yeah, man, let's go. Let's get the band.
Then we sell it.
And then what we do is we find a bunch of horny old men, and they buy it because... And again, we got to hurry on this, too, because the Internet's going to put this out of business. So, like, we only have a couple of years. We need these girls to go absolutely bananas.
Or wild.
Oh, yep, that's even better. We'll call it Girls Go
Bananas. Oh, yeah, Girls Going Wild. That's what we'll call it.
Oh, a texter says on the Gameday Men's Health text line,
pranking their dads.
Countries aren't the only ones trying to figure out what these orbs in the sky throughout history are and maybe contact with non-human intelligence. The Vatican hints at but won't let us see what they have in their archives. Odd times reminds me that I know very little. Yeah, we all know very little. They aren't even aliens anymore. Yeah, J.D. Vance thinks they're demons. Tucker Carlson thinks that they're angels or demons.
When J.D. said that, well, why aren't we? Well, you're the vice president. Can you not look into it? Like he said, I've thought about getting over to Area 51 and checking it out, but I just haven't had the time. If there are demons that are just flying around our country, I'd appreciate if somebody just took a look. Just like take a peek. Just go, maybe prioritize that.
Sometimes I do. I did do this thought exercise one time though. That like, all right, let's just say aliens are totally real. They've been contacting us. They've been monitoring us. They have more technology than we do. They're obviously not like evil.
Hostile.
Yeah, they would like. But let's just say like they exist. But you're still going to work tomorrow.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's what. Yep. 100%.
Like you're still okay. Aliens exist.
Okay,
do I
that's
still need to go do my job? It's like,
Yeah.
well, yeah, because the world's still gonna spin. So
Yeah. It's just another thing that you now are aware of. It doesn't, as of right now, it doesn't change your life.
from someone who follows it closely, there seems to be different factions within the government who disagree about this and are fighting it. Yeah, I don't care. It all just seems to be noise more than anything. Sad day, end of an era. We love you, TJ. Thanks so much. You're a natural sports, Game of Thrones, radio, podcast, Twitter space host. Well, thank you. That's nice of you to say. Another texter says, we probably won't want to bring up Michael Bennett faking his death and scaring some friends. Shannon the dude thought he was dead. You don't have to read this on air. Not looking to hurt Michael's feelings. Was just wondering if it was an April Fool's Day.
Don't read it on air.
Did. Yeah, that whole thing was bizarre, but Michael says he got hacked, so we'll just got to take him at his word for it. Oscar, okay, there's a bunch of text here. Let's see.
I got one here. Can I read this one?
Yeah, go ahead.
Not to suck up, but TJ is one of the best radio hosts in the business. I knew this day would eventually come, but still, it's a bummer to hear. We all wish you all nothing but the best. Friday would be a perfect day for a remote if there isn't one. Yeah, I agree. You're really good at this, and that's why this sucks. It sucks that you're taking a break, and we're gonna miss you for the summer.
I will say
miss you.
when you put the emphasis on taking a break, it does sound similar to like the dogs just at the farm. Like we just like when you put it like that,
it's not goodbye. It's see you later, and that later will be before September 5th when Kentucky plays their first football game under Will Stein.
Yeah, radio's a lot of fun, and it's a blessing to have a microphone and have an opportunity to do, and I've never taken it for granted. Just going to reset on it and hopefully get back to being able to being as in love with it as I always have been. A texter says on the Gameday Men's Health text line, Rob's an all-time favorite 10 or 20 cap for me. 1983 is my rookie fan year, and some of it is the communication stuff. His teammates just didn't seem to relate to Oscar. He spoke like missionary. His teammates were college kids. Oscar amending it at halftime is so odd. We were losing. Imagine how mad and confusing the players and the coaches were during it. He amended it at halftime?
I didn't know that.
What he amended at halftime? I think like this loosely rings a bell. Did he amend it at halftime to be like, and then we came back and won the game or something like that?
I don't know. Then we put the plane back together and everyone was fine.
And then we didn't collapse to St. Peter's. You know, that game went to overtime.
Yeah.
Like, man, you just had so many chances to win.
Calipari lost back-to-back overtime NCAA tournament games. 2019 Auburn, and then we had to wait until 2022 St. Peter's.
If we don't get Stokes, that's the Tyler Tanner tweet. I could see aliens being 9 feet tall and dark, and Scoots volunteering for the breeding. Scoots would be so into the breeding. Scoots would you wouldn't even have to convince him. You wouldn't even have to sell him on it. You'd be like, hey, there's a 9 foot tall. Stop right there. Don't even tell me. Don't even tell me the gender. I may change my mind. But he would be.
What if aliens had like multiple genders? What if they had 4 or 5?
I think that's totally true. I know that they're going to vote left.
I knew you were going there. I knew that's where that was going.
Sources tell me they saw Mark Fox packing up a box with a hammer and sticking it out of Lexington. That was rumored. Is anything official on Mark Fox?
Nothing official yet.
Okay.
But we'll keep our heads on a swivel. And we'll see what happens. I don't think we've heard the last of the coaching changes.
I agree with you on that. Did someone check to see if that's where Wimby's from?
That's a good question.
Yeah. Why is everyone so down on the coming football season? Our ceiling is 9-3 and our floor is 6-6. Mark my words. I'm not down. I'm excited for the football season.
I'm excited. I don't think our ceiling is 9-3 this season. Do you agree with that? Do you think they can
if Minchie is the real deal and he truly could compete for the Notre Dame job, I do think 9-3 is possible.
Okay,
I do.
I mean, I guess I can be told it's possible. I just think it's a slim possible.
It's like pie in the sky, sure, yeah, but
I do think more like
if
5 and 7 is probably the floor.
If Will Stein went 6-6 in year one, I think there'd be
We'd all-
reasons to just like jump on the bandwagon and
Yeah.
never look back. Like
Yeah.
it's a tough schedule. You're building a team basically from scratch. So if they win 6-6, I'd be happy with that. And then you got to think about it. Look how loaded that schedule is, and that means you're getting 6 of them. So it guarantees probably at least 3 wins that you're pretty psyched about. That's fun, right? Right? That's what we're looking for.
Well, I would say there's probably 4. I mean, you only play 2 of the money games now. You only have Youngstown State and South Alabama as your automatic wins. So if you get 6 wins, you beat what 1, 2,
So 4
4
good
good,
games.
yeah, 4 good, 3 SEC teams in Louisville. I mean, I'll take it. If you offered me that right now, and said that's the best that they'll do, but you'll have 6-6, I think I'd take it for year one, and that's not going to be okay forever, even with this 9-game SEC schedule. But as a starting off point, I would take it. I mean, if you go 7-5, let's build the statue, TJ. Let's go and get that Will Stein statue built.
I love it. The Colossus of Stoops is we're putting a halt on the construction for the old time KRC listeners.
Will Mark Stoops come back this season? Will they do a thing where he comes out and they go, "Thank you, Mark Stoops," or is it too early for all that?
Is Texas playing in Lexington this year?
Yeah, you're right. Dang it, I forgot he's doing that.
Because
Okay,
it feels
never
like
mind.
we've played
Never mind.
Texas the last 3 years,
Yeah,
or 2
no,
years.
the,
They've only been in the league for 2 years.
Yeah,
I think they're off the schedule, right?
We're not playing them this year. Okay.
That's a bummer.
And I forgot
Otherwise,
he's doing
I would
that
say
anyway.
yeah. Otherwise,
Yeah.
I'd say you honor him. We had some good times
Maybe
together.
there's a bye week that lines up.
He just wasn't motivated enough. Why? You'll be greatly missed, Mr. Walker. Just don't let them replace you with a liberal. Oh, God forbid.
Oh,
Can you
man.
imagine 2 liberals doing the radio show together?
Here we go. Here we go. I think we're gonna find a communist. We're gonna find one of those, bring one of them on.
Oh, Roush said he was done doing radio. Who will be the third guesser for trivia? Wait a second, TJ is leaving radio waves. Really? No, says one texter. Patrick Murphy. Shout out Patrick Murphy. Robert, that's really weird, guys. I don't remember Steven calling me to help fill in. I'm available every Friday from 12 to 2.
Could be leaning on you a little bit, Robert.
Get on in there, Robert. We'd love to have you. Roll call be lucky to hear more from Robert. Peak, what instrument did you play on the Titanic? When does Scoots and Toots start up?
Is it a violin or a fiddle? Has anyone ever figured out that? Because Ashokan Farewell, that's what they're playing on the Titanic, right? Isn't that what they were playing in the movie? Ashokan Farewell.
I think so. Well, I'll take your word for it.
Okay.
Dynamite story, TJ. Why don't you have your dad talk to a guy about the timeshare in Gatlinburg while you're out fooling people? Okay, I sense your sarcasm, and I don't care for it. I don't care for it one bit. Oh, yay, more airtime for Jacob to tell us about all the recruits we have coming in.
It's heating up, guys. Wednesdays with Jacob are going to be big. Gotta have a lot to talk about.
Jacob is working so hard. What do you want him to do? Just make up a commitment? Just fake a commitment? I mean, they tried it with Mason Williams, and then he actually committed. So, you got to be careful with this stuff. The thing that worries me about Stokes compared to Dillingham is that, Rob, you heard about it, and Stokes, we can already see it. Through getting kicked out of school and repeatedly changing his commitment date when it gets leaked, I would defer to wanting him more than not, but it's not exactly the same comparison. Oh, yeah, I mean, there will be shenanigans with Tyron Stokes. Whether he goes to UK, whether he goes to Kansas, wherever he goes, the school that gets him will get some time missed from him. It's just going to happen. Just going to happen. And if I'm wrong and he ends up playing and he's not a knucklehead or, I'm not even saying he will definitively be, but it seems like there's going to be some drama with him in college. All to say it's still worth it. Everybody still says it's still worth it. Now, if you got Tyler Tanner, I'd say you blow that Tyron Stokes money. I'd happily have that. Wow, everyone must really hate producer Matt. Well, I didn't want to really get into it, but who would have ever thought we'd be missing the Joel Justice recruiting chops? LOL, says one texter. Did you see Joel Justice is on the move?
Yes, I saw he's going to the SEC again.
Yeah.
What school was it?
Vanderbilt.
Oh, well.
He'll be down in
there you
Nashville.
go. Is he going to be recruiting Tanner back?
Joel Justice was one of the fewest. I had communications with
Did you like him?
half a dozen UK assistants during my time covering UK. He was easily the nicest. Just easily, just the kindest in terms of just oh, you're a human. Well, we can, I may not give you scoop, but how are you? More than all of them. So I always thought Joel was pretty
Joel
cool.
Justice of the Justice Files.
I'll root for him at Vandy.
We can save this for tomorrow, TJ, but Louisville might be getting a Subway. Like, not a sandwich shop, but a train.
I couldn't believe that. What?
Yeah.
Subway seems to suggest underground.
Light rail.
Is it going to be underground?
Underground, yes.
Like the Boeing system, the Las Vegas thing? Similar?
It's going to be something that connects the airport to downtown.
Ryan Quarles wanted to run on this when he wanted to run for governor. Of course, he didn't win. It didn't work. So everybody laughed at him. This got to be an April Fool's joke.
It is not an April Fool's joke. And Nick Roush put it out on KSR, and he had to make sure he said, this is not an April Fool's joke. So we can talk a little bit more about it tomorrow. Interesting development there.
This is on the level of Sweeney leaving a couple of years ago, maybe more sad. We'll miss you, TJ. Best wishes, sir. You hope you'll be back, but totally understand. If not, we'll see you on Twitter. You will. You will not miss me. I promise that. All right, all other texts in the show. We're out of time. Everybody have a great Wednesday. We'll be back tomorrow with some Trivia Thursday and Corey Price.
Yes.
For producer Matt, Stephen Peak, I'm TJ Walker. Happy April Fool's Day. This is Kentucky Roll Call on Big X Sports Radio.
This is Kentuckiana's only locally owned sports talk. The Big X, AM 1450 and 96.1 FM. WXVW Jeffersonville. W241CK Jeffersonville.
Hello, I'm Todd Metter, president and founder of TKM Financial Services here in Louisville. Listen to my